Yes, I bought a HomePod. I had it since day one. I also made a video about it. Click here if you want to see that review video. But at the end, I ended up returning them for a couple of reasons. They're not really as great as you think they are. Yes, they are Apple products. I do live in an Apple ecosystem, but there were so many flaws it just didn't really make sense. Especially since the cons just simply outweigh the pros. So I'm putting this video out to share with you guys why I think you shouldn't buy this and hold off on the HomePod. There's so many things that smart speaker fails at. And sure, many people, myself included, have to admit that speaker sounds really fantastic for its size. But what use is a speaker if it can't play audio from other devices? It's sadly trapped in that Apple ecosystem. But for crying out loud, my AirPods, let me grab them, aren't that restricted. They support Android devices. So that's just showing us that Apple didn't have to do this. So why should the HomePod be this restricted? At least give us an aux cable in the back for we could play music from our old classic iPods. Not even Google nor Alexa is this restricted. And I think it's even more ridiculous that you need an iPad or an iPhone running the latest iOS 11 or above just to set up the device. Also, keep in mind, in 10 or maybe 20 more years, Apple will possibly drop support for the HomePod, making this thing into an overpriced paperweight. And when that time comes, this thing is basically a useless speaker since there's no manual ports. And for $350, you could find better value going into retail stores like Best Buy and find better audio surround sound systems for your television or one of these bigger sound systems for half the price. And you could simply attach Alexa or Google Voice Assist to make these into a smart speaker, and you'll still be able to connect other devices. And as tested in this video where I tested the practicality between all three voice assists, you could click the little iCard on top of the corner here or click on the link in the description to watch that video. But the end result between comparing all three, the HomePod was the dumbest. Alexa, who is Ben Affleck?
Benjamin Gaza Affleck Bolt is an American actor and filmmaker.
That's it. Okay. Hey Siri, who is Ben Affleck?
I can't get the answer to that on HomePod.
And the Siri founded on the iPhones is not the same Siri that's on the HomePod. This one can do so much more than the HomePod Siri and can respond to answers a lot better than what the HomePod is capable of doing. And has no issues completing simple requests like locating lost Apple devices. It can simply use Find My iPhone with iCloud and locate that device. The HomePod cannot. It doesn't even make phone calls, but is capable of sending out text messages but lacks the voice recognition security. So anybody nearby this thing could easily send out a text message or read a message from your contacts. But it does give you the option to have this feature turned off. But what's the point of having it if it's always going to be turned off in the first place? And also, it cannot set up more than one timers. So this thing will be basically useless if you place this in the kitchen. And if you buy another HomePod and have it set at a different room, unfortunately, you're unable to play music individually, nor are you able to pair the two devices for stereo pairing. There is an update that says to come out pretty soon that will allow the HomePods to connect like this, but currently, there's no word when that update will be released. Also, you need to be aware on where you place the HomePod because there has been a report of it's causing damage to wooden-like surfaces. So you need to treat this like a drink. So you need to put a coaster on the bottom. I'm not even sure if Apple engineers even had a chance to daily test this thing before it got released to the public. And another thing that has to be discussed about the HomePod is that the only music streaming service that it supports is Apple Music. So no Spotify, no Pandora, no other third-party support for other music streaming services. You are strictly stuck to be using only Apple Music if you request Siri to play a certain song or a playlist on your iTunes library. This is where the Apple ecosystem comes in and keeps you locked in that ecosystem. Which once again is very strange because Apple Music is also available on the Android Google Play Store, which it yet still refuses to be supportive on those devices. But if you're actually currently using Apple Music as your main streaming service, then you'll be fine just using the HomePod. Just be aware that Google and Alexa can do way more for a fraction of its cost. And if you wish to check out that video I made comparing the two voice assist, hit that little iCard above the video or link in the video description down below. So to recap everything, the HomePod simply just feels like an incomplete product. There's no Bluetooth streaming support for other devices. Only Apple products can stream with AirPlay. There's no aux cable in the back. No support for third-party music streaming services. The smart home... Damn, that thunder though. The smart home voice assist isn't really that intelligent. No voice recognition software. It's a $350 speaker that doesn't even work like a speaker. You can't own two HomePods in the same household and expect them to play individually. You are unable to pair the two for stereo surround sounds. Yet, you're unable to make phone calls by simply using your voice. It cannot locate your phone or other Apple devices. It's not the same Siri that's located on the iPhones and can possibly damage wooden surfaces. And honestly, the only pros I could think of is that it sounds good, it's stylish, and it does a really good job to pick up your voice with thanks to those microphones. And I guess you could say it's an Apple product, if that means anything. Does it really matter? Does it really make up for the cons? Not really. I mean, honestly, I could have easily just added more cons to this list, but I didn't really want to nitpick on everything. Just these were the things that were kind of annoying to me, and which is why I returned it. But honestly, if you want to pick up a voice assist, get one that's already completed, like Google or Alexa. Both are universal and will work on any device. Or just hold off until Apple finally completes the HomePod, solving and fixing all these issues. And there's rumors that a new HomePod mini will be getting released pretty soon. That could possibly be set at a better competitive price. So in the meantime, I think you're better off picking up a mini or an Echo, and with that money left over, go ahead and get yourself something that you can have fun with, like a Switch, and just enjoy it. Because for $350, you could do a lot with that money. Well, that's going to be the end of this video. Comment down below if you agree, disagree. I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, be sure to destroy that like button, as well as subscribe to the channel if you're not. And until next time, hope to see you on the next video. Peace.